Today we're talking about generators. I ran this powersmart generator for 100 days worth of hours. Actually, let's fire it up and I'll show you what the hour meter says. So as you can see, this thing really did do 100 days worth of hours. 100 times 24 hours is 2,400. It's got 2,600 hours on it. So almost an extra 10 days on this generator, over 100. And the problems it's had, you won't believe. And we live off grid, and we've been slowly building up this solar array here, and it's still not done. It's been almost a year. And the amount of generators, I mean, this one here would break and we would, but I wanted to keep fixing this. I wanted to see, what does it take to get this cheap Chinese generator to 100 days? It's crazy. So let me just start off with, I got sent these generators for free. Those two and an identical one that's from a different brand, but you know how it is. They just slap their stickers on these things. And I'm still disappointed with them, even though I got them for free. So let's have a look at the condition. I made a video a long time ago adding this timer to this. That's something I added. It didn't come with it. That's fine. It didn't affect the reliability of the unit. Looky here, though. We've got cracks. Come on. There we go. Macro lens. Look at that crack in the frame right there. Okay, then we'll go over here. And we've got a crack in the frame right there. This metal is so thin and awful that it cracks from the vibrations of just itself running. This plastic is so thin that it disintegrated around the pull cord. These engine mounts are so cheap that they're not attached to the engine anymore. The muffler. Oh boy, the muffler. So it came a little bit loose and almost chewed this bolt in half, and the muffler fell to pieces, and now I've got this antique Briggs & Stratton muffler cobbled on here, so it would have a muffler for like, let's go check the logbook, the maintenance book here. When did the muffler fall off? 2,300 hours. So at 2,300 hours, the muffler fell off. Let's go through this list, okay? This is some crazy stuff. So, let's see here. Yeah, 500 hours, I replaced the main carburetor jet. And at 1,000 hours, I replaced the carburetor. Now, for those first 500 hours, this thing ran so bad. And I was just like, it'll get better. It just needs broken in. It never got better. I had to fix the carburetor. And this one came, and it would not run right from the start. So it was so bad that I had to buy a jet and put it in the carburetor within the first like 5 hours. I think this has like 6 hours on it. And then this one, I just got this one, and it's the same story. It has a slightly different carburetor, but there's a cable choke. So I thought, you know, yeah, slightly different carburetor, cable choke instead of a lever down here. I was like, this carburetor might be better. Nope. That one's bad too. It doesn't need replaced. It's like the other one, where when you put it under a load, it just kind of sputters a little bit. And I blame the EPA for that nonsense, because they are putting stricter and stricter emissions regulations on these little engines. I don't blame the engine manufacturers actually for the carburetor issues, but just be aware when you get one of these cheap Chinese generators, the carburetor is probably going to need a jet change. Back in the day, they used to be adjustable, but the EPA ruins everything. No more adjustment screws to richen it up a little bit if it needs it. Nope, you're stuck with what comes out of the box, and if it runs poorly, it runs poorly. You got to take the whole carburetor apart and fix it. Boo! Well, anyways, carburetor problems continue. At 1,000 hours, I replaced the carburetor, and I had to I wrote it under here at 1,600 hours when I replaced it a second time, but I had to use a GN 400i, that's a WEN generator, carburetor. Yeah, there it is, WEN generator. Because there's no parts availability for these. None at all. You cannot get parts for this anywhere. You can try to cross-reference them at AliExpress, you know, do reverse AI image searching or whatever. AI can't find them. Parts sites can't find them. No parts for this, no parts for that. No parts for that, because it's identical. And I looked and I checked, no parts for that one either. So, don't even think about trying to order parts, because they don't exist. But there's more at 1,600 hours. So there's the carburetor. The ignition coil had failed as well. Well, it was failing. So the generator was running poorly and it would randomly shut off. It might have been the ignition coil the whole time, full disclosure. But I thought it was the carburetor. I put it on. I got like another good week out of it, and then it wouldn't start anymore. And I had to get ignition coil. It was for a Honda E3000 IS for $50. That's the ignition coil I found that fit this generator. So we got a Wen carburetor, a Honda ignition coil, and then the air filter. You can't even get an air filter for this thing. Like, what? So I had to order a Champion generator air filter assembly off of eBay and just replace the entire air filter housing to replace the air filter element and be able to buy air filter elements to replace the air filter, which is ridiculous. And then, of course, because the carburetor was different, I was just pulling the choke with like a little piece of wire, but I was like, let's add something nice for the choke. So $20, I added a choke cable for the carburetor, and that was $20, and that was for a motorcycle, a little short motorcycle choke cable. Yeah, Harley Davidson Sportster XLH 1200. If you got to work on yours and find a choke cable that'll fit, I'll show you that up close. So we've got this choke cable that I've, very professionally electrical taped to that breather for the gas tank, and it goes down to that choke on the carburetor. Yep, so it has a choke cable. And then the pull rope broke at 1,700 hours, and at 2,300 hours, the muffler broke. And at some point between then and the full 100 days, these engine mounts disintegrated. I knew the other one, the bolt was destroyed because of the muffler falling apart, and that may have contributed to this problem. But yeah, it's either way. The quality of this thing, no. Just a no-go. You can't live on this thing and waiting on parts while it was down. I bought this generator from Walmart. This is just a video bashing Chinese generators pretty much from this point on. I bought this generator from Walmart. It dies randomly every like 2 to 6 hours for no apparent reason. So that's a quality unit right there. This unit, even after I put the jet in it, same thing. It dies like a little bit longer. Every like 4 to 8 hours, it'll just randomly shut off for no reason. It might have something to do with this stupid carbon monoxide protection system. I hate generators with carbon monoxide protection system. It's awful. This generator here, it was okay, but it sputters a little bit when it's running because it has the same carburetor problem as every other Chinese generator I've gotten so far. I've been using it with the heat gun, so it doesn't run that bad. It's just definitely running too lean, and this is an Amerisun generator. I got this one sent to me for free. Perks of having, well, at the time that I got this sent to me, I only had like 8,000 subscribers. Now we're up to 16,000, so subscribe if you want to. It's free, and if you don't like me in the future, you just unsubscribe. Anyways, on to something I actually would buy. This is a retired light tower. This has a 6,000 watt generator in it, and I just got it running again. I got it for $500, which is like the cost of this, except it's a big ol' diesel engine, industrial diesel engine, piece of nice equipment here. This, if I was gonna run off grid, this is what I would buy. Oh wait, I can't start this, but it starts right up. You have to take my word for it. I'm replacing the capacitor because the voltage was a little low. Look at this, 14,743 hours. If you thought 100 days was a lot, oh no. Now keep in mind, I kept that generator running 100 days with oil changes every 100 hours. So I took excellent care of that thing. I treated it like it was a quality piece of equipment, trying to see exactly what kind of reliability I could get out of it. And for the record, the engine and the electronics are excellent. The inverter puts out its full load like it's supposed to. The engine, when it's running right, runs beautifully. It doesn't burn a drop of oil, which I can't believe for a Chinese 224cc engine. Like the engine and the inverter board, they're solid. The outlets on the front are solid. They were so close to having a solid machine, but they just cheaped out on all the stuff surrounding it. You know, the machine's $300, that's already suspiciously cheap, and that's where they skimped on it, was the frame quality, and the quality of the pull cord, and the muffler being junky, and the engine mounts being junky. That's where they cut the corners. Another place to look for good, reliable generators, even though this is just another light tower. This is a U.S. Air Force military light tower. Or, I'm sorry, U.S. Air Force military is wrong. U.S. Air Force. You don't put military after Air Force, whatever. It's got a Kohler 7,000 watt generator in it. and a Kubota D905, like the light tower down at the bottom of the hill. And I got this one for $1,000 with 8,377 hours on it. And the one down the hill at 14,000 hours runs perfect. So this has a lot of life left in it. And it's already like pretty old. This is from like the late 90s. Even better, the back of this thing. Look at all these batteries. This used to be equipped for the lights to be taken off the top and put inside, but I removed all the metal bracketry that would have held these lights when you take them off and store them safely in here for transport. And that made room for 12 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries rated for outdoor use with heating on the inside. They were not cheap, but there was room for them. And I turned this into my battery bank for when the solar is done. But right now the generator charges the batteries because one of the consequences of this big old diesel engine, a gas generator like those inverter ones, so like these, you put on the eco mode, the engine will idle down, so you can just leave this thing running all the time and it will sip gas. It will idle the engine when you're not using hardly any load. It's actually cheaper to just leave this thing running all the time than it is to charge batteries, because this thing is just so darn inefficient under load. But then on the flip side, the diesel engine, it's more efficient under load. So that's the other reason I had to put all these batteries in here, is because when I start this up, it charges the batteries. And you can get like 4 kilowatt hours out of a gallon of diesel. So I can charge this entire battery bank off of like a 5-gallon can. I think maybe it's like half a gallon more than that. I don't remember exactly right now, but it's so darn efficient. And then everything here will run for 3 days. This was going through 5 gallons of gasoline a day. This is going through 5.5 gallons of diesel every 3 days. Efficiency is insane. Reliability and efficiency here off the charts. There's no way I would buy one of these cheap Chinese gas generators for off-grid use. If I had the money and the choices, I would find a used old industrial piece of equipment like this, and I would put it to work. Now, not everybody has the option or the skills to go out and buy a, cheap, like old 90s industrial generator and fix the couple simple things that are wrong with it, get it up and running, and put it into service for their living situation off-grid or backup. So I hope someday to find a reasonably priced generator that doesn't have all these problems brand new out of the box, that has parts availability, that is reliable for a reasonable price. $300 is ridiculous. Wait, where'd it go? Whatever. $300, ridiculous. That's way too cheap. It's all, you see that price, you know that it can't be that good. Like, your expectations are already low. So this video isn't really to be like, wow, look at how crappy this thing is for only $300. It's just they were so close. Just to spend another $100 on the machine itself. You're so close to having a good machine. This one lasted 100 days and it still doesn't burn oil. All you have to do is fix those problems that I listed, and this thing could really move some numbers, guys. Like, please hear me, companies. There is a use case for these cheap open frame inverter generators if you can make one that can hang in there with the big guys. Because spending 10 times that, $3,000, $4,000 on a Honda generator is just not in most people's budget. At that point, a light tower that doesn't need anything done to it, that has a nice Kubota diesel engine and everything, is like $2,000 to $3,000. And I would actually recommend you buy that over the Honda generator. Go buy something meant to be ran constantly, non-stop, rather than buying a Honda camping generator, because even that's not rated to be ran non-stop. So anyways, I've rambled long enough. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully in the next video, we'll be having some fun instead of looking at boring old generators. Bye-bye.